Hello, everyone, and welcome to Luminar Coffee Break, our special New Artist Friday Ask Me Anything. I'm your host, Angela Andrieux, and today I want to answer your questions. We're going to start off by looking at some of the most frequently asked questions in our user guide. This is actually a screenshot I took this morning of the highest searches in the last week. The first one on the list is cropping. And I know that's a big one because it's really easy to miss our crop tool. It's named Composition AI. And let me go ahead and pull up an image here. This is actually the one I edited on Coffee Break yesterday. Let's let that render, give it just a second there. And then we'll switch over to our Edit tab and take a look at the Composition AI tool. I'm going to go over to Edit and click on Composition AI. And you'll see that this is our crop tool. As this loads and renders, you can see I already cropped this image. You can choose the ratio that you want to crop. You can choose the original. This was actually originally a 2:3 ratio, but I cropped it to a 4:5 to take off some of the extraneous negative space. And there's a bunch of presets in here. If you have a custom size that you're trying to go for, you can go down here to Enter Custom. If you're wanting to set specific pixels, that's where you do that on Export. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and click out of this. I'm going to close up the Composition AI tool, and you'd go to File, Export, and this is where you can set your specific pixel dimensions. Right now I have it set to resize original, but we can always choose dimensions, and you can plug in specific pixel dimensions that you need when you export. All right, let's take a look at the next question. As we go through these, please put your comments into the chat, and I'll do my best to answer those live so you can walk away from today's session a little bit better at using Luminar AI. So with the crop tool, we also talked about resize. I also see here that we have erase and clone. And those are two really good tools to know when to use which one. I'm going to go back over here to Luminar AI, and let's just take a look at this particular image. Let's say we want to get rid of this distracting element right here, and possibly maybe even this little bright piece of grass back here. If we go to the erase tool, this is a live tool. We get to see the edits happening on our edited picture. And what this does is it looks at the image and it automatically will paint in and apply edits based on the pixels that are surrounding what you select. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to make my brush size a little bit bigger with my bracket key. And I'm going to paint over that distraction right there. I can click erase. We'll give it a moment to go ahead and render. And then that spot over there will disappear. We can close out of our erase tool and give it a second there. It should go. It's still thinking right here. You can see as long as that logo is pulsing, it is still thinking and rendering. There we go. And now that spot is gone. But there's times when you might have a more complicated situation where you need to be in charge of what pixels are being sampled to create that replacement. Hello, Joseph. Hello, Ian. So good to see you guys. All right, let's go down to our clone tool and take a look at that. This one works a little bit differently because it reverts back temporarily to the original image. You'll see that my black and white edits are gone, and I'm looking at the original pixels here. So what I want to do perhaps is get rid of, let's say, this little element back here, and I want to bring in some of this texture here. So I'm going to click first to sample. You can see it says click to set source. So I'm going to set right here as my source. Those are the pixels that it's going to start sampling from. As I bring my brush down, you'll see that source stays stationary. I can make my brush smaller, and then I can start painting in. You'll notice that it starts to move with that. So once you close up the clone tool, it will, give me a second here. Once you close up the clone tool, it will revert to your previous changes, and you'll be back to where you started with a much cleaner image where you're able to select where you want those pixels to come from. All right, let's see here. Ian would love to know about high key editing. That is a great question. So let's go ahead and go back to our image. We actually have a specific tool that does high key lighting. It's typically used in portraiture. Let me go ahead and close up this little window here. And let's grab this photo here. I'm going to go over to my Edit tab, and we're going to scroll down to our high key tool. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and bring my mouse slider up, And you're going to notice that it's really creating a nice bright light effect. That's the high key tool that's adding a high key effect to an image that actually is not high key. If you have an image that has, I believe it's kind of a backlit, side lit, very, very bright, it softens the light, softens the details. You can do beautiful things with that in Luminar AI. All right, so I hope that answers your question there, Ian. And you can also adjust the standard high key, you can adjust dynamic, and you can move these sliders back and forth to see what they do. You can see it deepens the blacks, it opens up the blacks. And as you go through this, if you have questions, keep in mind you can go up to our help menu, go down to the user guide, and that's going to open up our user guide, and you can go down to the portrait tools right here, select the high key tool, and that'll tell you exactly what each one of those sliders do. All right, let's pop back over to our frequently asked questions. It looks like there were a lot of lost edits questions this last week, so let's take a quick look at that. I'm not sure I have any lost edits in my catalog at the moment. Let's take a look. No, I do not. If you did, what's going to happen is you're going to have a shortcut that appears up here that says lost edits. And what that means is that Luminar has lost the connection to where your files are located. Most times it's as simple as the external drive that you have your pictures on is unplugged. The second likely scenario is that you moved or deleted the original images that Luminar was pointing to. If the drive is unplugged, simply plug it back in. Luminar will recognize that drive and you'll be back in business. If you accidentally moved those images, all you need to do is right click on that image or right click on the folder of images that says lost edits, and you can tell it to locate image or locate folder. Navigate on your hard drive to the new location of those images, and that will reconnect everything. If you accidentally deleted your images, check your system trash can, see if you're able to grab those back. If not, you may need to pull them off of one of your backups. Hopefully you have them. So that's going to be how you deal with lost edits. All right, let's take one more here from our list of frequently asked questions this week. Luts. Luts are so much fun. They are a great way to tone and give your image a specific mood. I've got one here where we used a LUT. You can see I also added a texture. Let's go over to an Edit tab. Give that a moment to render. All right, and then we're going to scroll up here under the Creative section to the Mood tool. And this is the tool where you can load up any one of the number of LUTs that we have built into Luminar AI, or you can load ones that you've downloaded from other software and elsewhere on the internet. There are literally thousands upon thousands of them out there. Many of them are free, and they do some really cool color grading to your image so you can change the look and feel and the mood of your photo just by changing the LUT. If you want to load your own custom LUT that you have stored on your hard drive, all you have to do is go up here to Load Custom LUT File and locate that on your hard drive. Now, if you're watching this, you might have heard that yesterday we announced a brand new application called Luminar Neo. If you would like to learn more about Luminar Neo, I recommend going to our website. And I'm going to go pop over here to the Skylum.com homepage. And up at the top, you'll notice this new item called Luminar Neo. This is where you can go to learn more about the software and to pre-order if you're interested. If you have questions, scroll all the way to the very, very bottom of the page. We have a really awesome frequently asked questions page that answers just about everything you would want to know about Luminar Neo before you pre-order. So I encourage you to read through this and see if you think it would be a good fit for you. Luminar Neo is the next big thing. It's going to be awesome. I'm very excited about it. And over the coming weeks, I look forward to seeing your questions and answering those questions on our coffee break sessions. With that, I want to wish you guys a wonderful rest of your Friday. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.